Right, so I don't think this car has been in any of my videos before. It's normally parked over there next to the Vigor, but I'm getting a hoist and stuff set up, so I've moved it. It's a Honda Prelude INX, so it's the same Prelude that I have as my drift car with the pop-up headlights and stuff. And you can see the back of it is the same as a regular Prelude, but it's an INX model, so it's got like, it says INX on the back. These are pretty rare. I think they only did them for 91, maybe they made them in 1990 as well. It's got a different front end fitted from the factory. It's also got a few different like bits of chrome interior bits and pieces and some other stuff. There's like chrome rings around the gauges and chrome ring around a bunch of other stuff around the light. But anyway, I don't think this car's been in a video before, but I was looking at it a while ago, and by a while ago I mean like a year or two ago, and if you can see, which you can't, so now I've got some light. I was looking under the bonnet and the car is pretty much completely stock, but I found this extra wire coming from the alternator and followed it back, and I found this box under the dash. It says Starbro and a bunch of like numbers and like doesn't say what it is, but it does have like a model number and stuff, and it's obviously just going with the size of it, it's pretty old school I think, and it's all written in Japanese, so it probably came in the car when it was imported to Australia. After doing a whole bunch of research on the internet, I found that it's actually a really old remote start. Now I never had the remote for it or anything, it didn't come with it, and I did a lot of looking into it and found some old Yahoo Auctions ads. They're not for sale anymore, like at the time, and I still haven't seen any for sale, but they were like $200-300 for some reason. I don't know why they're so expensive, like considering they were so old, but I thought, oh well, I'll just leave it under there, everything works, and then just ignore it. In Japan one year, like after I'd gotten the car, I'd pretty much completely forgotten about it, but I came across this on a shelf at Up Garage. It's exactly the same model Starbro RS60. I thought it might be different because this says RS60, but the one on the car says RS60R, but the one in the box actually says RX60R. Now it's been opened because the plastic's missing. I don't know, I forget how much I paid for it because it was a few years ago I bought this. I think it might have been around 20 Australian dollars. I think it was 1,500 yen. There's a really old Up Garage sticker on the side here for 9,800 yen, which is like, I don't know, $150 at this point. There's another one here that's been scratched off, so I think it's been sitting around there for a long time getting marked down. Right. Inside it, so like I said, it's been opened before. I was super keen, when I was looking up the remote start on the internet, I saw photos of the remote and I was really disappointed I didn't have one, but that's the remote for it. It's pretty big and it's got a pull-out antenna, which is pretty like 80s spec. I assume it's been installed in a car before because it's got, like I don't think they would have had a rubber band originally, probably had like one of those little twisty tie things. But if it hasn't been installed, this is all like very neat. So I don't have there's no instruction manual or anything in here, so I don't have a wiring diagram. But yeah, I'm sure we can figure it out. There's an antenna, so there's no antenna on the outside of the car, so I'll have to work out where that wire goes. And I have just noticed this one looks slightly different to the one that's in the car, so we'll go over there and compare the two. So I've chucked my big light on top of the sunroof, which makes things easy. Thankfully there's a super long cable on this original one. Now this one, if it's in focus, which it's not, I'm trying to hold the camera and focus at the same time. Here you go. So this one says it says RS50R. So this one's RS50R. This one's RS60R. So I'm assuming this one's a bit newer. The box itself is like, the box itself's like a little bit smaller than the original one. It still has the same like super long black loom with a bunch of wires coming out like just near the edge, which is the same as this one's got, and the rest of it going up under the dash. It still looks like it's got the same antenna plug. This one's got it on the top instead. One thing that kind of sucks is this one has 6 dip switches on the bottom, which I'm assuming is to set the frequency for the remote. And this one has 8, so I was hoping they'd be the same and I'd be able to just set the switches on that to match this and the remote would work, but we might not be that lucky. But we'll follow these wires up and see if it's got the same as this one. All this one's got coming out of it is there's these set down here, and then there's a 3-pin plug. Yeah, 3-pin plug and this white one. So we'll follow the other ones up and see if we can work out what's going on. So after pulling down a bunch of these wires, it's got a super long cable on it. It looks like the original one has a white, red, blue and green wire. And this new one I've got has the same white, red, blue and green, except this one's got bullet connectors on the end and this one's got a big plug. But I think before we go any further unplugging the original one, I might just try and start it. I'll see if the remote works. We'll play the dip switches and see if it'll listen to this one, because the antenna will plug into this. I've had a look around the car, like on the dash and on the parcel shelf and stuff, looking for traces from where the antenna might have been, but I can't see any marks from it. I think this car was probably owned by some like businessman in Japan. There's sticky stuff here from something being attached there, like maybe a phone or something. And then unfortunately under the dash here, there's this where something's been stuck on and then ripped off, which is pretty disappointing because this is a brown dash, which we didn't get in Australia, so probably never going to be able to get another brown dash for it. But at least it came with a dash mat to cover the big hole that's there. But yeah, I can't find any traces of that antenna being stuck on the windows or in the car somewhere, so I'm not sure where it was originally. You can see it's pretty butchered into the, this is like the wire loom from the key. It's all just like these crappy crimp-on things, which is what it actually comes within the kit. These seem to be really popular in Japan, but I don't think they're a very good way to do things. This long yellow wire came in the kit as well, and that's running to the alternator. I think it uses that as a signal so it knows when the car's already on, so it doesn't try to start itself when it's already on. But yeah, let's plug the antenna in, play with the dip switches, see if we can get it to start using the new remote with the original starter. So this is a bit of a closer look at the starter here. It's got one button and then this comes off and there's batteries in there. So obviously the first thing I check is whether the batteries are any good. These batteries have been sitting in here for probably 20 years plus, so we'll try them, but it's probably not going to be good. Also, I'm going to go past the shops on the way here and buy new batteries, but I forgot, so let's see what we got. Holy crap. 3.2 volts. These are 3 volt batteries, yep, they're 3 volt batteries. That one's reading 3.2, so it's good. And this one's reading 3.2 as well. Rad, that's awesome. These have been sitting in there for ages. So in there they sit on top of each other, which should give us about 6 volts. 6.4 volts. Cool. Oh well, I guess we'll just yeah, turn everything on and see what happens. Now this new one has a little LED on the bottom of it. The old one I don't think has anything. Okay, so I should be able to have the car completely off. I don't know why this is doing retard stuff, whatever. Now, there is a little red LED on top here and it's not showing any sign of life. I wonder what all these are actually for. Oh, I guess all we can do is push the button. Ready, set. Oh, big surprise, nothing happened. Actually, I should plug the antenna in. There you go, I'm sure it's going to have made a huge difference. Ready, go! Nothing. I was expecting this little light on top here to like flash or something, but it's not. So, what we will do is this has all of them set to all the dip switches. Actually, come closer. So if you, those of you that don't know what dip switches are, there's these little switches, you get them on the back of electronic stuff, and you use them to set like frequencies and settings and stuff. This one has them all down except for 4, which is up. And so I might just play around with a couple of combinations on the original one. I'll put them all down and 4 up and just see if they want to play with the remote. We'll do a couple of experiments. I wish there was some kind of light on the remote so when I push the button, like, I could see it do something, or if it'd like beep or do something, so I know the remote's working. So I've decided that our remote's not going to play with the original one. So all I've done is cut the white plug off the new one and put a bunch of bullet connectors, and I've just connected it like same for same what the old one was. The thing with the old one that seems different is it's got these 4 bullet connectors that are close to the box that weren't connected to anything. This one has the same, well, it's got 4 plus this extra black wire. The black wire, wherever it's gone, down here somewhere, looks like it's supposed to be a ground, and then the brown one may be power. So maybe they've left the ignition, like this is obviously the section that splices into the ignition to actually turn the car on. So I think they've left that connected, and they've possibly disconnected this to disable the whole thing. So we'll just turn it on with these ones connected, and then if that doesn't do anything, I'll hook these up It also has this writing on the front of it, which if I can get this to sit somewhere where I can video it nicely. It's all in Japanese. I can go through and translate it, but it's something about like the park neutral sensor and a few other bits and pieces, but I don't think it has colours in there for what wire is what, so we'll play that for a bit more and then we'll start translating these and see if that gets us anywhere. Maybe even open the box up, I guess, and look at where these wires go and see if we can work out if they go into like a power supply or if they're a signal or something. Anyway, actually that's just plugged in now, so we'll push the button again. See if anything happens. Ready? Beep, 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 beep. No. Where's the LED on this? The LED on this is on the end. Does the LED do anything when I press it? The LED's like right there. Not doing anything either. So when we turn the car on. No. Right, let's hook this grey wire to power, I guess, and this one to ground, and then see what happens. We're making progress. I just grounded the black wire, and now we have a light. Something might actually happen. Where's the remote? Hey! Ah, shit. Oh. Holy crap. The relays and stuff in the car all just clicked. Hey. Ah, no, they did just click. Go on, do it again. Yeah. It's doing something. I have to hold it down? No? Is that even me, or is the car just doing that? Oh, just going to disconnect the power for a second. Yeah, the car's also just sitting here on a jump pack. I don't actually have a battery for it. Just notice that the button, when it's in focus, that is, which is not that way, which is this way, it doesn't just push, you actually have to push it and then slide it up for it to actually do anything. So, with this newfound knowledge, I will now try again. Ready? Stand back. Stand clear. The car's making a click. It's doing something. Something's working. At least I know the remote is talking to the little box. Further investigation. The antenna wasn't plugged in. I'm sure this can make all the difference. Ready? Oh, hey look, the dash lights and everything came on. Beep. Beep. Oh, I'll do it again. Beep. It's not firing the starter. Do I have to have my foot on the brake in this car for the starter to go? Alright, this is some contortionism. I'm leaning on the car and holding the camera and get my foot in here. Oh, where's the brake? There it is. Ready, set. Oh, I still didn't do anything. It's in park, like the car should start, does it? Okay, so it starts on just the key. I don't know why it won't fire the starter motor. Right, I'm going to follow some more wires and I'll get back to you. Okay, so after more thinking, it's occurred to me that these things on here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, correspond to these switches on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm guessing what they do is allow me to turn these like safety features on and off, like has to be in park, has to be in whatever, has to, all that sort of stuff. This car doesn't let you start it unless it's in park, so that doesn't need to be on. But I'll translate these. Actually, let's just turn this one to off as well. They're all on. Well, they're all down now, whatever that means, off. Let's see if that actually works. No, it didn't do anything. Let's put them all up and see what happens. I reckon this is so you can bypass certain safety features for cars that don't have like interlocks and things. Ready, go. Still nothing. The other thing is if I hold it, it doesn't keep the dash on. It turns on and then it turns off again, but I'm still like holding the button. So maybe it's waiting for it to start. If it doesn't start, it's not doing something. We'll see. Okay, so I've taken a fairly large gamble here and run this brown wire straight to the battery because I think something tells me that brown should be constant power. The LED's still on, nothing's smoking yet, but I'll give it a shot. Come on. Now, well, it's not doing less than it was before, but still not actually cranking the starter. So this car has a total of like 2 non-standard wires in the engine bay, a red one and a yellow one. The red one comes straight from the battery, and I've just followed it back and it went up under the head unit, so I think someone's added this in for like permanent head unit power. I don't know why you do that because it's got that stock, but people do stuff like that. And this yellow one I followed is connected to the alternator, and I just plugged it into this yellow plug on this remote start thing because the yellow wire should go to the yellow plug. Maybe. Ah, still no starter. I reckon there's something got to go into these other plugs down near the box before it'll fire the actual starter motor. So looking closer at the wires, this is the loom from the key itself where the start signal comes from. There's been other ones of these splice terminals on here and they've been removed, so we'll work out if one of these is the start signal, and then one of those is probably supposed to be wired into one of these that actually switches, and then we should be getting somewhere. So I've just found the terminals that are the start signal. I've got the multimeter pressed, it's hooked up so it beeps. The thing's disappointing is it's neither of these two that have had crimps connected to them. The one that comes off the start signal is actually this yellow wire, which we already have hooked up here. So like what we need is we need a constant power to the box, and we need a output from this that will switch the starter for a second or two and then will turn off again. So what I might do now is probe the outputs from the actual box and try find something that looks like it should be the starter signal. So I've found what I think is meant to be the constant supply and what I think is accessory and what I think is ignition, but there's two that I'm not sure about and I've swapped them around. So I'm just going to stand over there ready to unplug the jump starter if I press this button and like the starter motor starts but doesn't stop or something. Alright, here we go. Didn't do anything at all. It's doing nothing now. Okay, oh, this is INX Prelude. There's no smoke. Alright, I forgot to actually plug the ignition switch loom back in. So here we go again, connecting the power. That's not a good start, the whole car's... Oh shit! That was weird. The whole car was like already on and it sounded like it tried to trigger the starter motor, so that's not right. Okay, so the reason it tried to start the whole car is because I had the ignition turned on. So I've put it back, we're back to square one now where it turns the accessory on but not anything else. I'm going to unplug the blue one. It still does accessory. And we'll try and unplug the green one and see if we still get accessory. We don't. So the green one's obviously doing something. If we unplug the red one, the whole thing turns off, so that's constant power. So I think we need to swap the blue one and the white one around. That's probably a dumb way to do it. Let's put the multimeter on the blue one, and if I press the button and the blue one comes on with constant power, I think that means we're at the right one. So I'm going to put the multimeter to the car's ground and then put the thing in the blue one, press the button, and we have voltage at the blue one. Does the white one do the same thing? I don't know what the white one does. Alright, we'll connect the starter motor to the blue one, this other wire to the white one, and then we're going to go over to the jump pack, ready to unplug it when it catches fire. And ready, go! Okay, well it fired and it stopped firing, but it sounds like the jump pack is pretty much flat because this little jump pack struggles to start the car without all this extra stuff. It definitely doesn't keep it running. Like I'm holding the button, it turns over for a couple of seconds, but it's like not getting a signal to tell it to keep going. It needs another input from somewhere. Like it turns itself off. So, I was just playing with the wires, and I knew I'd missed it on camera, but I've just tried like 100 different things, and I've connected this grey wire to ground, and I pressed it, and the ignition came on. Instead of coming on for like 1 second like it normally does, it came on and it stayed on for a couple of seconds, and then the starter motor started to crank, so I panicked, so I unplugged it. But I think this might be how it's supposed to be, and what it did was start it, and then wait for the fuel pump to prime, like it's got a delay, and then it went to crank it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just plug this one from the alternator back to the yellow one, because I really feel like this one from the alternator is what tells it to stop cranking, because that's when the car's started. But I'm going to go stand near the power pack so I can unplug it if it starts. This might be it. Alright, here we go. It's on. Didn't crank it. Woo! That's the jump pack saying it's flat, but I clicked it once, it turned on, waited for a couple of seconds, and then went to start the car. So that might actually be it. I think the jump pack is getting too flat now, which is annoying. Try it again. Press it once. Let go. Wait. Tried to start. This car's been sitting for ages, so it's a bit hard to start. It hasn't turned everything back off though, which I would have thought it would do if it tried to start and failed. Oh, it just did turn everything back off. Oh, this is going to be cool. The jump pack only turns the car over for like a second before it can't do it anymore. I'm going to put some starting spray in it. Like, this car's sat around for years and I've never tried to run it. Well, I've never actually like driven it. So it's a bit hard to start because it's been sitting for so long, and this little jump pack isn't really meant to jump start with no battery. It's meant to sort of help a flat battery. There's some spray. I'm going to get ready to unplug it if it starts and then doesn't stop the starter motor already. No. We'll try it again. I reckon it's going to work. What I should really do is start it with the key, let it warm up a bit, and then play with this. But try again. So just to show you, I just push it once, and then it does its thing on its own. Can't tell if it's not starting because this isn't giving it some certain signal, or if it's not starting because it's just hard to start from sitting around for years. Yeah, we'll try it again. Come on. Are you going to do it? No, doesn't want to do it now. Did it turn the lights on that time? The dash lights didn't come on. Let's try again. Holy shit! Oh yes, that's it! Has it turned? It's got a handbrake. Oh, the handbrake light's on. Oh yes, that's it, it works. That's awesome. If I press it again, it turned the starter motor off and everything by itself. And before, it was cranking, and then when it didn't start, it continued to crank, so it's obviously getting the signal from the alternator to say whether the engine actually running or not. If I press it again, does it stop? Oh yeah, that's cool. This little lithium jump pack's hating life because it's not meant to start this stuff this often, but far out, it's so cool that it works. Wait, got to put the antenna down, just like, whoa. Oh, I accidentally popped the cover off the battery. That didn't work. Try again. Whoa. Come on. Yes. I like that it knows if the car's not starting straight away, and it continues to like crank it until it starts, and then if it doesn't go, it gives up. That's awesome. So even if the car like I should be pretty confident that I could be inside or at work, whatever, and know I'm going home in 10 minutes, give it a press and it should get the car started. And especially because this is a JDM Prelude, it's got digital air conditioning, I'll just leave it set to the temperature I want, be like, yeah, I've got to work soon, hit the button, it'll set everything the way you want it, set the temperature, and everything will be good to go when you get in it. Man, that's freaking cool. I'm so glad that works. Such a odd and awesome thing to find at Up Garage. Figured now it's all working. Now I've tidied up all the wires under the dash. Might as well take the car outside, get some of the dust and stuff off it, and give it its first proper outside test. Ready? Perfect. It's a bit warmed up and it's been running a little bit now, so it seems to start up straight away. It doesn't keep running the starter motor, and yeah, it seems like it all functions perfectly. This car is 30 years old next year, which means I can put on historic rego, so next year I'm going to be registering it hopefully and be able to actually start driving it.